The Israeli army says it has now launched an extensive investigation into its conduct during the offensive and is looking into allegations that hospitals were targeted. In the past, Israel has accused Palestinian fighters of hijacking ambulances and taking refuge in hospitals. But international law is clear. Hospitals and medical staff may not be targeted unless they themselves are directly involved in the fighting. On January 4th, the same day as the helicopter attack in the Olive Grove, a second ambulance crew was hit. This time they were shelled by a tank.
هذا القذيفة المسمارية اللي كتلت عرف عبد الدايم الله يرحمه استشهد منه.
Khalid and his two colleagues, Arafat and Alat, were responding to 5 civilians critically injured by an Israeli tank shell.
الحين أنا شايفهم جايبين مصاب رجليه التنتين مضروبات متهتكات نهائي. هم حاملينه ووصلوا تقريبا هان وصلوا الإسعاف. أنا القذيفة بتنخبط في الإسعاف. أنا برجع بقيت حاط إيدي على الباب بدي أنزل أحمل معهم. شفت حالي برا الإسعاف أنا. فأنا بطلع في حالي هيك وتفقد في حالي لقيت حالي كويس. حطيت على راسي لقيت فيه دم. قلت أنا مدام بجري وبمشي بهمش يعني دم.
The ambulance had been hit by a tank shell, packed with 8,000 tiny nails, called flechettes. Arafat's body was filled with these nails.
جراي لقيت عرفة قاعد هيك وقول أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمد رسول الله رافع يديه. لقوا الكبد تبعه مليان مسامير زي هدول. الشاب اللي كانوا جايبينه لقيته متقطع بدون راس. كان رجليه تنتين وراسه راح. أنا صرت يعني ارتبكت ما عرفت ايش اسوي صرت أجري من هان لهان.
He raised the alarm, but the first ambulance workers on the scene turned back, fearing they too would be targeted.
طبعا أنا بنساهم مش لحتى اللحظة عمري ما بنساهم. ولا عمري حنساهم. يعني ال24 ساعة دائما في بالي. ال24 ساعة.
With a total of 38 medics killed or injured, and 59 hospitals or medical clinics hit, some completely destroyed, we asked the Israeli army why this was necessary. They declined our request for an on-camera interview, but provided us with this written statement.
The IDF does not target medics or other medical staff. As a part of their training, IDF soldiers receive instructions on identifying and avoiding injury to medical staff on the battlefield. However, in light of the difficult reality of warfare in the Gaza Strip, carried out in urban and densely populated areas, medics who operate in the area take the risk upon themselves.
The relationship between the United States and Israel is rooted in shared interests, in shared values, and deep friendship among our people. It is supported by a strong bipartisan consensus that I've been proud to be a part of, and a broad majority of the American people. And when I am in the White House, I will bring with me an unshakable commitment to Israel's security and the friendships between our two countries. But any agreement with the Palestinian people must preserve Israel's identity as a Jewish state. And Jerusalem will remain the capital of Israel, and it must remain undivided. We know that the establishment of Israel was just and necessary, rooted in centuries of struggle and decades of patient work. But 60 years later, we know that we cannot relent, we cannot yield, and as president, I will never compromise when it comes to Israel's security. Not when there are still voices that deny the Holocaust, not when there are terrorist groups and political leaders committed to Israel's destruction, not when there are maps across the Middle East that don't even acknowledge Israel's existence, and government-funded textbooks filled with hatred towards Jews, not when there are rockets raining down on Sderot and Israeli children have to take a deep breath and summon uncommon courage every time they board a bus or walk to school. I have been proud to be a part of a strong bipartisan consensus that has stood by Israel in the face of all threats. And then there are those who would lay all the problems of the Middle East at the doorstep of Israel and its supporters, as if the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is the root of all trouble in the region. These voices blame the Middle East's only democracy for the region's extremism. They offer the false promise that abandoning a stalwart ally is somehow the path to strength. It is not. It has never been, and it never will be. Those who threaten Israel threaten us. And I will bring to the White House an unshakable commitment to Israel's security. That starts with ensuring Israel's qualitative military advantage. I will ensure that Israel can defend itself from any threat, from Gaza to Tehran. As president, I will implement a memorandum of understanding that provides $30 billion in assistance to Israel over the next decade, investments to Israel's security that will not be tied to any other nation. And I will always stand up for Israel's right to defend itself in the United Nations and around the world. We must isolate Hamas unless and until they renounce terrorism, recognize Israel's right to exist, and abide by past agreements. There is no room at the negotiating table for terrorist organizations. That is why I opposed holding elections in 2006 with Hamas on the ballot. Now let me be clear. Israel's security is sacrosanct. It is non-negotiable. We must never force Israel to the negotiating table. Any agreement with the Palestinian people must preserve Israel's identity as a Jewish state with secure, recognized, defensible borders. Now, there's no greater threat to Israel or to the peace and stability of the region than Iran. Its president denies the Holocaust and threatens to wipe Israel off the map. Let there be no doubt, I will always keep the threat of military action on the table to defend our security and our ally Israel. Do not be confused. I will do everything in my power to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon. Everything in my power to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon. Everything. Now is the time to join together in the work of repairing this world. And I'm looking forward to being a partner with AIPAC and making that happen. Thank you very much, everybody. God bless you. God bless you.